Let's get started, folks. I'm going to give you an overview. So this is the advanced grant writing course. A lot of you have probably heard of it. I have a number of students that go through it, receive a grant for 100% of the training. So I'm just going to do a quick welcome and announcements. I've got a poll for you just so I can understand a little bit about you. I'm going to just give you a brief overview of the course, and then we're going to talk about this training grant where most of the bulk of the work for that's going to go today, because that was kind of the purpose of the talk was, hey, you can get a 100% training grant for this course, and I want to show you how to do that because there are a number of steps. I've got checklists for you so you can just watch them. The objective of this webinar is for you to win a 100% training grant for the course. Be mindful, it doesn't include the tax, right? So the course is $5,000, but the tax is like $250 on that. So it doesn't cover that, but it does cover in general, these sectors on the right, ag, most of you probably know this, but this is where most of the money is, right? Agriculture, charity, employment or nonprofits, energy, exporting, housing, indigenous infrastructure. You can read that list. Those are kind of the sectors with grants. If we had more time, I usually put the open federal grant database in here and I get people to look and search their topic like vertical farming or landscaping or something. And you can see all the other organizations who are winning grants in your space. It's actually kind of fun. Okay, next point, just a quick briefly about me. I'm not going to spend a bunch of time talking about me, but I do think it's important that you know who you're speaking to. If you've been following my newsletter for years, thank you very much. But I have a background in political science. I started my career at the Alberta legislature for 4 years and doing finance stuff. I was going to do a PhD and I was like, that's crazy. And that's when I got into grants in 2012. And some of you, I notice, I've been teaching grants since like 2018 or 17 or something like that. But they were kind of like 101. And then I thought, no, to write compelling grant, it's quite an extensive process. And I'll walk you through it. And that's what this is. Just quickly about me, this is my dad. I have to take care of him quite a bit. That's my sister, Carla, and this is my partner in crime, Ellen, who's awesome. And I have an addiction to Reese peanut butter cups, but I am cutting back. This is a young Dave, but I think it's very important that you see this. Is I approach politics mainly from a non-part. Obviously, we all have biases about governments and stuff, but it's a very professional context. I always had a nonpartisan background, and my background comes from government and now into business. But I just want you to know that's my mindset as I approach this, and it's going to be helping you build grants. So I wrote a book on golden grant rules, and I have a very diverse sector of winning grants, nonprofits, exports several times, large grants, small grants. I'm doing it for a decade. After a while, I was like, okay, time to train people. And there's my vision to build trust between business and government. And when I teach this class for you, and it starts really today, when you're interacting with government, it's always building trust. You're always being honest. You're having integrity. You're answering the things properly. And if you don't know, you're communicating. And if you have a good relationship with these grant agencies, you can win these grants every year. It's really important that you always act that way. And there's a lot of people I don't know on here. It is kind of strange, but me talking like this to you, but I just want you to know when you get into grants, you always want to be honest. You always have integrity, and in the end, as you build that and have a valuable business, grant agencies are delighted to work with you. Okay. Warren Buffett's got a great line that says, it takes a lifetime to build a good reputation, 5 minutes to lose it. You're going into a political space, not going to get too far into it now, but always act accordingly. Okay. That's my strong recommendation. After this webinar, you're going to have 3 things. You're going to understand how the course works, which are going to be brief. The ability to win a training grant. I will help in the Q&A for some of you that want to win like the 66% one, but I'm mainly focused on the 100% training grant here because that's what I put out in an email. And then clear next steps. Course overview. This is the journey the course goes on. So it's going to be on Wednesday mornings. I offer it 2 more times this year, but you can see the purpose behind the course is building a master grant application. So we start out 9 to 11 on Wednesdays. The next one's April 17th. That date becomes important in a minute. And we have project management and finding grants. You get a list of finding grants with the class too. We bring in guest speakers. We actually had a really awesome guest speaker in project management, Bonnie. She's the most popular project management course on LinkedIn. And so she was amazing. And because most grants fund projects, right? And most of you on this call, some of you, but most of you aren't project managers, but yet grants fund projects. And so you have to learn how to write compelling answers. Then we do meeting grant agencies. We had an IP lawyer come in, sales marketing expert, And so you're just building that master grant application. So if you're joining this new company, I just show you a systematic and process way to build that master grant application. Then you can get your training grants in, your summer grants in, your export grants, your tech grants, whatever sector you're in. But that's the idea behind the class. And then there's this portal where we have like improve your grammar, you know, oh, sorry, that should be finance and marketing and intellectual property. But the key point I want you to take away is the reason why I do a large course like this is there's usually one of these blocks that gets somebody. You know, you're not a strong writer, or you don't have project management background, or you've never done the government type stuff. And grants involve all of those sectors. So when you're done this class, you're trained in each area of writing grants. It's very multidisciplinary, if you will. And that's the idea behind it. In addition to the live course, there's this portal. So you'll have the live training 9 to 11. I stick around. That's 21 hours for the course. That's important for the training grant. I stick around for an hour after the class when we do office hours, which is super fun. And then we have a portal that people will share stuff they're working on, or sorry, the community room where people, share their drafts and stuff, and we'll have edits of it. And then there's a portal for additional learning, like deep dives on how to write team biographies that win and stuff like that. So and you get access to that portal for 12 months after the course. Now, final slide here on the course, but there's one in April. Again, it runs to July, and then there's one in the fall, 9 to 11. There's your hours I just talked about. You get a certificate, more information. I would take a picture of this maybe if you want. It's for writing grants for yourself or your company. Then it's $5,000 for the course, which leads us to the training grant. And the main one we are talking about is the Canada Alberta Job Grant. If by chance you are in another province right now, people have been winning it there too, but I'm going to focus today exclusively on the Canada Alberta Job Grant. Now, this is a quote from the Canada Alberta Job Grant Guide. So just have a read of that. And if you're driving or something right now, it basically says, training can be purchased before the application is submitted. However, the application must be received prior to the start of the training. That's important, but this is the important, or the key point. Applications should also be received at least 30 days in advance of the start date of the training. So the course starts on April 17th. That would be this Friday. You want to get it in. And that just gives them time to say, okay, they review it, you've been approved, and before you have to pay or before the course starts, which is what you want, right? Now let's go through this training grant. And again, we're focusing exclusively on the 100%. It's very applicable to the 66%, but I want to focus on this. So the key point you want to look on this slide is the employer is going to win the grant. So eligible applicants are private business, not-for-profits, First Nations, not municipalities, but those not-for-profits and private business, they're the entity that's going to apply for the grant. So if you're an unemployed person or they're going to hire you, it's the company that's going to win the grant. I'm going to break this down for you in a minute. Now, here's the first checklist. This comes important. I got 3 checklists for you. The company needs to have a MyAlberta digital ID for business. And that, follow along with me, ready? When they sign up for I'm trying to help you get this grant in, okay? So when it's the legal signing authority of the business has to have their name on the MyAlberta digital ID for business, obviously. They can add you as a user, but you need to get that sorted. That's step 1, because you can't apply for the Canada Alberta Job Grant unless you have that set up. So step 1 is do that. You're also going to need, this is a common one, your Alberta corporate access number. It's on your corporate registration or your annual return. You'll see the number there. If you're a not-for-profit, usually starts with a 5. And if you're a private company, it starts with a 2. And another key important point is this business has to be in Alberta for a minimum of 1 year before application receive date. So those are 3. That's the checklist for the business. So private businesses, not-for-profit. So this is the business checklist. Now, the trainee, this is for the grant. So unemployed trainee. So basically they're saying, look, if someone's not working for 30 consecutive days, they're going to pay for 100% of the training up to $15,000. It's a doozy of a grant in terms of de-risking it for the business. And it's great for the employee because the employee can come in and get training 100% reimbursed. And even if you never take my course, this is a good, hopefully, information for you that you can help someone who's down and out or something and say, hey, listen, here's a grant, a business can get it and you can get your skills. So it's really awesome. Now, trainees, they haven't been working for more than 30 consecutive days, or, which is great, They were recently hired. So they've been working for you for less than 3 months or 90 days. And prior to that, they were out of work for 30 days. How long does it take to get the Alberta ID? Like 2 minutes. Like you just literally go in. It's just a survey, you sign up. Now, sometimes there's a delay on them sending the confirmation link, but the Alberta Digital ID is very quick. The key though is, bear with me, okay? It's got to be the legal signing authority. Their name needs to be there. You don't want to have a trainee's name on the Alberta Digital ID and them approving their own training. That can be a barrier. So I'm giving you a heads up now, okay? Hopefully you're tracking with me there. So this is interesting. So if you meet this criteria, or if there's someone, you're a company, you're like, hey, I'm going to bring someone on here to help write grants, and they haven't been out, you'll be eligible for you have to be an employee or work for that employee. So volunteers, this is not work. So you would have to be like, that organizing not-for-profit would have to hire you or potentially hire you in the future to write their grants. Then it would be eligible, but not straight up as a volunteer. Now, checklist number 2. The trainee. So the trainee. So if you're coming along with me, now you know the company's eligible. They need to have this. So this is, you've got the business that needs to pull their items together. Now the employee needs to either have that conditional offer of employment letter or a letter of employment. So if they've been hired, they need that. And this is actually really important. But notice how they say, I would take a picture of this if this is your situation. It's got to have the name, the job title, the signature, the trainee signature, the employment start date, and letterhead. Like if you don't have that, they're going to send it back to you. So it's really important to get it right, get it done one time, or update it. And the second thing is, this is the trainee. You need to have either an EI benefits claim or a record of employment. One of those two pieces, a record of employment for your last job, or an EI benefit that you had in the past. They're going to ask you to attach that. All right, checklist number 3. The employer's intent. So say you're going to hire someone who's not been working for 30 days. Your intent must be to hire the unemployed trainee upon completion of the training. That's their words, not mine. So the intent. So the things go sideways, I'm sure they do, but your intent's got to be, hey, we're going to hire you. Here's a letter of offer. And a really important one the employer needs to know about is, you apply for the grant, hopefully you get it right. You win the grant. The company has to pay for the course before it starts. And then when the course is done, the day after, we get together and we submit the form, and then you get e-transferred. So that's how the cash flow works. And that's really usually a common question. I notice on the Canada Alberta Job Grant, they always have that. So those are your 3 checklists. I'm just going to recap them. There's the business checklist. Pretty straightforward. That's quick. That should be straightforward. There's the trainee. I should say unemployed trainee. Actually, I'll update that. But you've got either one of these items, your offer of employment or the letter of employment, and then either your record of employment or something with EI that shows you weren't working. And then that's just FYI. Now, here comes kind of the last important slide of the webinar. 3 things that need to occur for this to work. One is the employer needs to do their part, which is sign up for the MyAlberta Digital ID for Business. Remember, it needs to be from the business. And then you can invite maybe the unemployed trainee as a user or something, but know that part has to have your name on it when you submit this. Second, the employee needs to gather those documents that I just showed you. And then third, the trainer, that's me in this case, Alberta Business Grants, needs to provide the training information. And the training information is, I'll put it in the chat in a minute, but it's the grant writing course page. Everything's there. I'm also going to do two meetings on Thursday to help you do this. It just goes a lot faster if the trainer's involved, because it can just help you answer these questions. So I'm happy to do that. There's no charge for that, but I just to help you get through it quicker. But to get to that stage, you got to do these 3 things. So it's the business, the employee, and then the trainer kind of have to work together. And here's the information on the course. You go, this is the course page, and then you just go down to course syllabus. They're going to ask you to attach the course syllabus, and then they're going to ask you questions about the trainer, and it's all that information right there.